It is a complete honor to have our seventh guest at Nv-Ratna series, Mr. Aarti David. She is a publishing professional with 2 decades of experience. She was Senior Vice President Publishing at Sage India and also a member of Sage Global Senior Management Group. As Senior Vice President Publishing, she headed the books, journals, commissioning, and marketing verticals. Marketing strategy, PR, and branding are some of her strengths in this industry. It is our immense pleasure to have her with us. Welcome, Ms. Aarti David.
Thank you.
So, my first question is, what are things that drive you to achieve great pinnacles in life?
Well, it's not really one thing that drives anyone to achieve anything big. It's a combination of little things that drives you to be where you reach, in your journey to success. Perhaps one could say perseverance and commitment to pursue one's passion, adaptability to change with the changing times is very important. And I think an openness to learning. So for me, that has been my key thing. I've never stopped learning. My journey has all been about learning. Sage has been a tremendous place, a ground for learning, because the learning is endless. You as you grow, you learn more. There's so much more to know. So you never at a point where you think, okay, I know it all. So therefore you're always catching up to learn. I think that's what is important to get anywhere. You have to continue to learn.
That's inspiring, ma'am. That lead to me to the another question, that how did you come about choosing a career in the field of publications?
Well, if you won't laugh at me, it was truly by accident. So it was not like I was, seeking to become a publishing professional. I was in a completely different profession previously, but publishing kind of formed a synergy with the kind of education that I had or the kind of experience that I had. And it seemed like a natural progression, even though I had no past experience or no idea what it entailed to be in publishing. But I think I took to it like duck takes to water. So it came to me as a natural progression, although I had no prior experience or idea as to how I was going to get into publishing.
For those who aspire to get into publications as a career, what would you say are the prerequisites for it?
See, for every role in publishing, you require a certain kind of qualifications to get into it. But I think the primary thing that one needs to have is a willingness to learn, a curiosity, a desire to work hard. Rest is all, you need to fit into certain, divisions or departments, and you need to, have those kind of necessary background in education. But the most important thing is, I think, curiosity or knowing or wanting to know how publishing happens. That is very important. If you don't treat it like a job and you treat it like a journey, I think it would be something that you would want to, start your journey into, or start walking into, because it is very vast. Publishing is not just one small thing. It's a very long journey. It's a whole process of evolution. So one needs to understand how things happen in the industry or in a particular publishing house to want to be a part of it. That's what it is. And it's not all glamour, by the way. So that's something one needs to be aware of.
With the increase in equal distribution of genders in workplace, how must the youth work towards bringing gender equality in the workplace?
See, I would say today's youth are very aware and receptive. It's not like they're not aware. So they just need to be more accepting of all genders at the workplace and also respect gender fluidity, because I think as times are changing, we are becoming more open and accepting to all kinds of genders. It's not just man, woman, or, LGBTQ or, other categories of people. We just have to be more open and not restricted to him, her. We should allow we should allow every kind of gender to be a part of the workplace. That's one part of it. The other thing is that there are a lot of stereotypes attached to particular functions in, I won't say just publishing, but also publishing. So, for example, if I were to just say, talk about sales, it is not a line that women would automatically think about choosing as a career option. And it is also not something that people would offer you as a career option in publishing. Mostly it will be all men. So that is a stereotype, and there have been women in publishing houses who have led the function, who have been a part of it, who continue to be a part of it, but it's a very small section. So I think that stereotype has to be removed, and everybody should be allowed to be part of every role. As that evolves, acceptability in the market and the conditions will also change for everybody to do any kind of role, because I think with the education and the right kind of experience, anybody can do any role. It's not restricted to a gender. So that's what is needed for the young people to be more open and receptive to. But I think the youth today are very smart. They are not restricted by the older thought processes. That's my belief.
Would inculcating the culture of academic writing in schools improve the quality of paper published in the higher levels?
Definitely. I think most scholars struggle with basic language skills. So they always need assistance, they always need somebody to read their paper, to edit it for them. So if it starts at a younger age, they would definitely have a better sense of how to write a paper and what all is required to write a paper. And they would also develop their research better, because they know they will have the tools, they would know how to go about doing that research. And along with that, I think what would be more important at the school level that children should be taught is a sense of shared responsibility towards intellectual property. We can only respect our intellectual property if we respect that is which is created by other people. For instance, no plagiarism, those kind of things. So if we know what is copyright, what is plagiarism, all these kind of terms, if we are already aware of that, then we would not indulge even by accident into doing anything like that.
What are some ways can we inculcate research writing in high school children's?
I think it is important to guide children to be focused. There has to be, they can't just be out at sea and, don't know what to do. They have to be given a particular topic. They have to have a clear idea about what they are going to be researching, how to gather information. There is a whole world of information available in today's day and time. There's a lot of digital access, so there's lots of information. But how to compile that raw information, how to review the data that you have created, how to make a rough draft of it, and how then to create a final piece, how to credit and cite the resources from where they are getting that information, all of that. And I am telling you in a nutshell, but there's a lot that goes into research. But if they are taught how to do this at a very young age, they will know. And I think these schools are teaching children to do a bit of research. But I think what needs to be drilled more is how to do what they are doing and crediting the right source, because if you are able to determine the right source from where you're seeking information, they will be able to be more informed. And I think like I said, academic misdemeanor, plagiarism, and ethics come into play very important. So that is something that really needs to be drilled into students. And most importantly, being honest about what they're doing. So digital tools are there to find out if somebody is copied from somewhere. So if you already cite the source or give credit, then you are doing the right thing. So that's what's important, doing the right thing.
Ma'am, so there is a notion that only those in academia require research publication under their right wing. How would you say it is beneficial to someone in the industry as well?
See, when something is well researched and cited, it becomes more credible as a source and can be relied upon, for various studies. And I would say that even while preparing reports or conducting surveys, one needs to have access to research. So it's not like an access to the right kind of data. So without research, we will all be very ill-equipped, and won't be able to function. So it's not like research is only required for academia and nobody else. For anything we do, even while you are doing what you are doing, you had to research and find out who are the people who can come and talk to you or to your students. So you also needed those tools to research who and how, from where. So I think it's very important. Research is a quintessential part of our everyday life. We research for everything. Even if we want to go to a doctor, we research 5 places where we will find a better doctor, or where should we go and buy certain things from. So research, even to the very smallest thing, is very important nowadays. So in terms of when you look at publishing, when you look at any career, research is very important no matter what. It may seem very small, but it takes up a whole big part in whatever anybody is doing in their job, in their profile.
That's true, ma'am. So, what kind of research have the higher chances at a reputed publication?
Like I said, every function requires research. So it's not like a particular kind of research is what will get you into a reputed publication. Every type of research is important. From a publishing perspective, it's structured, cited, and organized papers which will find it easier to get published. So if you're publishing a journal article, all these criteria need to be met. The article needs to be peer reviewed, blind peer reviewed, and then only, it will be accepted because it has to have passed through all the checks of being authentic research. Similarly, if you're writing a book, it has to be referenced, it has to be cited well, only then it will get accepted. So from a purely publishing perspective, you would need to follow through all of these things to be able to publish your content. But just quickly say that if I were to do some sort of publicity for a book or an article, I would need to research where all I can publicize it, right? What are the platforms where I can post this information? So all of that again involves research, and that's just a small part, but every function would require research.
Ma'am, so how is working in the field of academic and research publications different from the generic publications?
Actually, there is no difference. Fundamentals of publishing are actually the same. It's actually about individual interest and where one feels, where they find themselves to be most suited. For instance, I could be very academically inclined and have a background in sociology or political science or I don't know, gender sociology. So I would naturally gravitate to a publishing house that publishes that kind of content. And there's a whole range to choose from, between fiction, non-fiction, academic library books, to pure textbooks. So it would depend what is it that you really want to do, and then you get into that line, because and there are just so many functions in a publishing house. So one needs to be clear on one's interest, and the path then gets decided accordingly. Because a lot of people think that it's only editorial that is existing in a publishing house, but there are just so many other functions. One just needs to know.
So, ma'am, with the movement towards digitalizing everything and the increase in the PDF culture, where do you see physical books and paperbacks positioned in the future?
I have been in publishing for 2 decades, and I've been hearing this forever, that books are on the decline, that books are going to go away. There may be instances where businesses may not do well, where, what should I say, books may not work as a function, but will they stop being in existence? Not at all. Books are going to continue, especially in a country like ours, where people have very limited access to digital. If you look at the larger populace in the tier 2, tier 3, they don't have access to internet. Forget about ebook and digital content. So I don't think PDF is going to really take away the physical book, at least not in the near future. So it's going to very much be there, and while it enhances the PDF, the ebook, the digital content, it makes it easier for students to access information, but it's not going to take away the physical book. It's always going to be there in some form or the other.
How must Indian students work towards getting into the global field of academic and research publications?
I think Indian students are very much putting in their research in the global field. It's just that they need to be more sincere in the research. Like I said earlier, they need to make sure that they credit the source, ensure that the data we are providing is not plagiarized from anywhere. That will help them gain more credibility in the global arena. And we also need to be aware that biases do exist. And if you're not from a reputed institute coming from outside, even academia in India don't respect research, because it's not coming with a label from an overseas a partner or whoever is not working with you. So I think what we need to do is that research can be modified a little bit to ensure that you are doing the necessary, or rather, I should rephrase it, you're taking the necessary steps to make it more acceptable globally. So many times what happens is that the students are only looking at things very myopically. When you say international, you should make your content international. And to make it international, you have to ensure that it is of relevance to a global audience. I think that should be the focus of a student whenever they're writing something.
That's really insightful, ma'am. So let's move on to the another segment of our interview. So can we start the rapid fire round?
Okay.
Your favorite quote?
No accidents in life, everything happens because it's predestined. There has to be a reason for it.
Your favorite book?
The Alchemist.
Okay, your inspiration?
Well, my inspiration has been my dad, my parents actually, but my dad primarily. He was my role model, my hero, and I think he's helps me strive to do my best and never give up.
Best advice you got by whom?
Again, my dad, and he always said that a man was crying for shoes till he saw a man without feet. So he always told me that you should always remain grounded, no matter where you reach in life. Remain grounded, and I think that has helped me, all along my life. No matter where I've been, I've always remained grounded. Touch wood.
Last movie you have watched?
Actually, I'm not such an avid one, but I did re-watch an old Hindi movie called Dil To Pagal Hai. But
Yes.
I watched them in parts, so I saw it in a man. I think in a 2 days time I saw the movie. So that's the last one I saw.
One good habit everyone should have?
I think being honest would be a good habit. Being honest and integrity. If we can have that, I think we can overcome anything. Being straightforward and honest, really, sometimes it may not help, but most times it helps. It gets you out of situations more easily than if you were to weave lots of lies together to get out of a situation. At least that's helped me. I have always been very honest in my career.
Best mischief you did?
I'm not really a mischievous person, but I remember in my previous job, we fooled somebody and said that they would be getting their salary on a plate with bread omelette on it. So, and they actually fell for it. So that was the most mischievous thing I probably did.
Okay, ma'am. So one last message for the current youth you want to give?
I think be yourself, be proud of who you are, believe in yourself. That's most important. And never shy away from asking for help or support. I think a lot of young people these days struggle with a lot of comparisons with many other people, or, because of this exposure to social media and everything. So I would just say that believe in yourself and know that whatever you're doing, wherever you are, is the best place to be. And don't compare yourself with anybody else. You are your best competition, nobody else.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you so much, ma'am, for all the such insightful answers.